My name is Emily. I am 20 years old. I lived in the city for my studies. My home was far away, in a small town. I had been in the city for almost 1 year. Then my college gave me a long holiday, so I decided to return home. The train was slow, but I did not mind. I looked out the window and watched the green fields. I felt excited. My mother had called me many times that day. She asked about my train. She wanted to know when I would reach home. Her voice was happy. She said she was waiting for me. I thought maybe she just missed me a lot. When the train stopped at the station, I picked up my bag. I walked out and took a taxi to my town. It was already evening. My mother opened the door when I arrived. She hugged me very tightly. Her eyes were wet. "My dear Emily, you are home," she said. I felt warm in her arms. I want to ask you something before I go on. If this story touches your heart, please subscribe, share it, and leave a comment where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. After we sat in the living room, I asked my mother for a glass of water, but she did not move. She just gave me a strange smile. "Your water is coming," she said. I was surprised. A moment later, a young man entered the room with a glass of water. He looked shy. His hands were shaking a little. He gave me the glass and said softly, "Here, please." I looked at him. He was tall and slim. His hair was dark, and his eyes were blue. He seemed around 22 years old. I smiled and said, "Thank you." My mother's face shone when she saw him. Then she said, "This is John. He will stay with us for some time." I looked at her with surprise. "Stay with us?" I asked. She said, "Yes, dear. John lost his parents last week. He has no house. I decided to help him. He will live with us now." I felt a little unsure, but I also felt sad for him. "I am sorry for your loss," I said to him. He only gave me a small smile. That night we had dinner together. My mother asked John to sit at the table with us. He ate quietly. He did not speak much. I wanted to ask him many things, but I thought maybe he was still sad. After dinner, my mother went to her room. John helped me clean the dishes. When our eyes met, I felt a strange closeness. I did not know why. The next morning, I woke up early. My mother had already made breakfast. John was helping her in the kitchen. He looked different in the morning light. His eyes seemed bright. My mother placed my favorite food on the table. "Eat, Emily," she said. John stood and waited. He looked shy again. I said, "Please, sit and eat with us." My mother also told him to sit. He sat near me. I looked at him carefully for the first time. His eyes were the same color as mine. I felt a strange bond. Later that day, my mother said she was tired. She asked me to go to the market with John. I did not expect that. I wanted to say no, but John was already ready. We walked to the market together. At first, it was quiet. Then slowly we started to talk. He told me about his old town. He said he had few friends. I told him about my studies in the city. After some time, I was not shy anymore. In the market, we bought food and some small things for the house. John asked me for help to choose. He listened to me with care. I liked that. On the way home, we stopped at a small shop to drink tea. We sat outside and talked more. The air was cool and the street was busy. For the first time, I felt happy to be with him. I forgot about my mother waiting at home. When we came back, I thought my mother would be upset because we were late. But she was not upset at all. She was smiling. She even asked me to take John to the park the next day. I did not understand why she wanted us to spend time together. But I agreed. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about John's blue eyes. I remembered his quiet smile. He was a stranger, but it felt different. I asked myself, why do I feel this way? Is this my first love? The next morning, I woke up with the sound of birds outside my window. The sun was bright. I washed my face and looked into the mirror. My cheeks were red. I did not know why. I told myself it was just the long walk from yesterday. But I knew it was not only that. I was thinking of John. When I went to the kitchen, I saw him again. He was cutting bread. My mother was sitting near the stove. She looked at us and smiled. "Go to the park later," she said. I looked down at my plate and said nothing. I felt shy. After breakfast, my mother gave me some money and said, "Buy some fruit on the way." I looked at her. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. It was like she was testing me. I did not understand her mind. We walked together to the park. It was not far. There were many trees and flowers. Children were running and playing. Old men sat on benches and talked. I felt relaxed. John walked beside me in silence. Then he said, "Thank you for yesterday." I felt better. I smiled and said, "I also felt better." We sat on a bench under a big tree. A soft wind moved the leaves. I asked him about his parents. His face became serious. "They were kind people," he said. "They worked hard, but life was not easy. Then last week, they became sick and both passed away. It was too fast. I could not save them." His voice was low. My heart felt heavy for him. I whispered, "I am sorry, John." He looked at me and gave a small smile. "Now your mother is helping me. I am thankful. And you are kind too." His words touched me. I looked away because my eyes were wet. We stayed in the park for many hours. We talked about small things. He told me about his school days. I told him about my friends in the city. Sometimes we laughed. Sometimes we were quiet. When we walked back home, I felt close to him. It was not like being with a stranger anymore. It was like being with someone I knew for a long time. When we reached home, my mother was waiting at the door. She looked at both of us carefully. Then she smiled and said, "You are late again. Did you enjoy?" I said yes. John also said yes. She did not look angry. Instead, she looked too happy. That night at dinner, she asked John many questions. "Did Emily talk a lot? Did you feel good at the park?" I felt shy. I wanted her to stop. But John answered politely. He said, "Yes, she is kind." My face became hot. I looked at my plate. The next few days passed in the same way. My mother always asked me to go with John, to the market, to the park, or to buy things for the house. Slowly, I began to like these small trips. We laughed more. He started to tease me sometimes. He was not always shy now. I also felt free with him. One evening, we sat in the yard under the moonlight. My mother was inside. We talked softly. Then for a short moment, our eyes met. I felt my heart beat faster. I could not move. He did not move either. There was silence. Then he whispered, "You have the same eyes as me." I felt my face burn. I quickly looked away, but deep inside, I knew I liked him. That night when I went to my room, I lay on my bed and thought only of him. I smiled alone in the dark. I asked myself, is this love? Is this what people call first love? The next day, John helped me in the garden. We planted flowers together. Our hands touched when we passed the tools. He looked at me and laughed. I laughed too, but my heart was shaking. When my mother saw us, she looked pleased. She said, "You two look good together." My face turned red, but I also felt happy. But that happiness did not last long. A few days later, my mother changed. Her face was not bright anymore. She stopped asking us to go out together. She even asked John to stay away when I went to the market. I did not understand. Why was she different now? One night I went to her room and asked, "Mother, what is wrong? Why do you act like this? At first you wanted me to be with John. Now you push him away. What is in your mind?" She looked at me with a serious face. She said, "Emily, listen. I wanted John to feel at home. I did not want him to feel like a servant. That is why I asked you to spend time with him. But you must not think more than that." Her words hurt me. I said, "But Mother, I like him. I feel happy when I am with him." She shook her head. "No, Emily. You cannot like him in that way. Forget this thought. It is not right." She spoke in a strong voice. Then she told me to leave her room. I went back to my bed and cried. I could not understand. Why was she stopping me now? I loved her. I respected her. But I also felt something strong for John. My heart was divided. The next morning, I avoided John. I did not look at him, but he noticed. He asked, "Emily, are you angry with me?" I shook my head, but I could not tell him the truth. My mother was watching us. Days passed slowly. I missed talking to him freely. I missed walking to the park. I missed his blue eyes. I felt pain inside. I wanted to tell him that I liked him, but I was afraid of my mother. One evening, John knocked on my door. I opened it and looked at him. His face was serious. "Emily," he said, "I must ask you, do you feel the same as me? Because I feel close to you. I think of you all the time." His voice shook. My heart jumped. I wanted to say yes, but I thought of my mother. Tears filled my eyes. I whispered, "I do, John. I like you too." We stood in silence. Then he held my hand for the first time. My hand was small in his. I felt safe, but I was also afraid. At that moment, my mother's voice called from the hall. "Emily! Where are you?" I quickly pulled my hand away. My heart raced. John looked down. Then he left the room. That night, I could not sleep again. I kept thinking about his words, his hand, his eyes. I also thought about my mother's serious face. Something was wrong. She was hiding something. But what? The next week, my mother invited some guests to the house. A woman and her daughter came. The daughter was very pretty. She had long blonde hair and wore a nice dress. My mother smiled and said, "Emily, this is Mary. She is the daughter of my friend. I want John to meet her." My face went pale. I looked at John. He looked confused. My mother asked them to sit together. She acted like a matchmaker. I felt pain in my heart. I could not believe my own mother was doing this. When the guests left, I went to her room and shouted, "Why, Mother! Why do you do this? Why do you want John with another girl? You know I like him." My voice broke. She looked at me with tears in her eyes but said nothing. She just closed her eyes and turned away. After that day, the house felt heavy. John was quiet. I was sad. My mother looked sick. She often stayed in her bed. She told me she was tired. The doctor said she must not take stress. I felt guilty. Maybe I had hurt her with my anger, but I could not stop loving John. My heart did not listen to me. One evening, I saw him in the garden. I walked up to him. I whispered, "I do not care what my mother says. I love you, John. You are my first love." He looked at me with wet eyes. He said, "I love you too." We hugged under the dark sky. At that moment, I felt both happy and scared. Happy because of love. Scared because of my mother. I did not know the truth yet, but I knew there was a secret. My mother was hiding it. A secret that could break my heart. The next morning was quiet. The house felt heavy. My mother stayed in her bed. She looked pale. I tried to give her food, but she ate only a little. John helped me clean the kitchen. We did not speak much. Both of us were worried. Later that day, I sat beside my mother. I held her hand. "Mother," I said softly, "why are you doing this to us? Why are you stopping me from loving John? Please tell me the reason. I cannot live in pain like this." Her eyes filled with tears. She looked away. "Emily, you cannot marry John. It is not possible. You must trust me." I felt angry and sad. But why? Give me one reason. I love him and he loves me. Why are you against it? You wanted me to spend time with him before. Now you want to break us apart. Please tell me the truth." My voice shook. She turned her face to the wall. "Not now. You will know one day. But please, do not ask me again." Her words cut my heart. I wanted to cry, but I stayed silent. That night, I went to the backyard. John was waiting there. His face was serious. "Emily," he said, "I cannot stay like this. I love you, but your mother does not want it. What should we do?" I looked into his blue eyes. My voice was soft. "I do not care. I will marry you. I will fight for you." His face lit up for a moment. Then he held my hands. "We will be together, Emily. We must be. We both smiled through our tears. For a short time, it felt like nothing could break us. But life is not always kind. The next week, my mother called guests again. Another young woman came to our house. She was polite and pretty. My mother looked at John and said, "This girl is better for you. Think about her." My heart broke again. I shouted at my mother after they left. "Why do you do this? Why do you hurt me? I will not marry anyone else. I will only be with John." My mother started crying. She said, "Emily, please do not hate me. If you want to know the reason, then wait for my last day." Her words shocked me. "Mother, do not say that. Please tell me now." But she only closed her eyes. I left the room in tears. Days passed. My mother's health became worse. The doctor came often. He said she must rest. I tried to stay calm, but I was breaking inside. I could not lose my mother, and I could not lose John. Then one morning, when I returned from the market, I saw people outside my house. Their faces were sad. My heart stopped. I ran inside. My mother was lying on the bed, her eyes closed forever. She was gone. I cried loudly. My whole world felt empty. John stood near me, his eyes full of tears. He tried to hold me, but I could not feel comfort. My mother was gone, and she left us with no answers. After the funeral, the house was silent. I stayed in my room, crying day and night. I felt lost. Then, one evening, I went to her room. I opened the drawer near her bed. Inside, I found a small box. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside, there was a paper. My heart beat fast as I unfolded it. It was a message from my mother. My eyes filled with tears as I read it. "My dear Emily, forgive me. I did not tell you the truth before. I loved John, but not as a son-in-law. I loved him as a son. He is your brother. You are not my real daughter. I adopted you from another family when you were a baby. But John was born from my own blood. That is why you cannot marry him. I wanted you to treat him like a brother, not a lover. Please do not hate me. I hid the truth to protect you. I love you forever." The paper fell from my hands. I sat on the floor, shaking. Brother? My first love was my brother? I could not believe it. My heart screamed. I felt sick. Tears covered my face. John came into the room. He saw me holding the paper. He asked softly, "What is it?" I gave it to him. He read it slowly. His face turned pale. He sat down on the bed. We both stayed silent. The truth was too heavy. Finally, he whispered, "So this is the reason. We cannot be together, Emily." His voice was broken. I cried harder. "Why? Why did this happen to us? What is my mistake? What is your mistake? Why did life play with us?" He looked at me with tears. "We must accept it. We must live with it. I will leave this house. You must live your life. I will live mine. But I will always care for you, as a brother." I felt my heart break into pieces. My first love was not mine. It was a secret I never knew, a secret that destroyed my dream. Days turned into weeks. John left the house. I stayed alone. I often sat in the garden, remembering his smile, his voice, his eyes. I wanted to forget, but I could not. He was my first love, and also my brother. Now I am 20 years old. I lost my mother. I lost my first love. I lost the life I wanted. But I learned something. Love is not always easy. Sometimes love is pain. Sometimes truth hurts more than lies. Still, I keep going. I study. I live. I breathe. I carry the memory of my mother, who loved me even if I was not her real child. I carry the memory of John, who was my first love and also my brother. This is my story. My first love was a secret I will never forget.